Hi, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to show you how to add on a second or subsequent subtotal to your raw data which already has a subtotal. Let's look at the raw data. In this raw data, I have created a subtotal for inventory value by department. As you can see, that's the subtotal for apparel. And over here is the subtotal for food. However, I want a second subtotal. Maybe I just want to count how many items there are in that particular department. So for food, there are 6 items. So I want to add on a subtotal here that says I have 6 items in the food department. So essentially, I'm adding on to an existing subtotal. So how do I do that? So that's what I'm going to show you today, which is adding on a second or subsequent subtotal. Where do you access this feature? Basically, it's from the data menu and the subtotal command. Or again, if the menu is somehow folded, then you can basically access the feature from the data menu, the outline button, and then the subtotal uh, command. Let's just jump into it. So inventory list. Uh, if you don't know what subtotals are, I will put a link to my first video in creating subtotal in the first place in the description box of this particular video. All right, let's just create a second subtotal now. Now, step number 1 is for you to select your table. If your table is contiguous, you can just put the cursor inside the table or put the selection, Excel selection inside the table. Step number 2 is to click on data, click on outline, and click on subtotal. So in the subtotal dialog box, what you need to do is first you need to select your grouping. In this case, it's department. So drop down and choose department if it's not already selected. Okay, that's your grouping because you want to group subtotal by department. Then your function, in this case, I just want to count. All right, so what it means here is by each department or for each department, I want to count. Now, when you use count, you basically can use any of the columns here. It will just count how many items there are or how many rows there are for that particular group. In this case is department. So I'll just leave it at inventory value. So for each department, I want to count the number of inventory values. So that will just count how many entries there are within that department, which will give me how many items there are in that department. So once you've done that, just click on OK. Now, when you do that, you notice that you basically replace the subtotal that you have done earlier. As you can see, the subtotal for sum of inventory value is gone. Now, if you want to add on, what you need to do is in the same dialog box, subtotal dialog box, right? Once you've chosen whatever you need to choose, so I'm going to reselect sum over here of inventory value. You need to remove this check mark. So you're not going to replace, but instead you're going to add on. So by removing this check mark, you're not going to replace the, let me just zoom that in. So by removing this check mark, you're not going to replace the current subtotal, you're going to add on to it. Right? So choose your configurations over here and then remove this check mark and click OK. Let's look at the result. Now you can see that you have two subtotals over here, one for sum and the other for count. So there are 6 items in the apparel department, there are 6 items in the food department, 8 in kitchen, and with that you also have the sum of inventory value for each department. So that's it. That's how you basically add on a second or a subsequent subtotal to a pre-existing subtotal that you have created. So if you have not done so already, give a thumbs up to this video, like this video, leave some comments as well, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification icon so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I'm going to add on to my channel in time to come.